are watching ZoeTV.
How are you today? I hope that you're doing well. Now, the youth are in a place in their lives where they need guidance, where they need exposure, where they need experience so that they can be able to make informed decisions about their lives and to end up in places where they're supposed to end up. But this will become very difficult if there's no information and intentionality in guiding them and showing them which way to go. And that is where ZoeTV comes in, because ZoeTV is here to inspire lives, to direct, to influence our youth in the right direction. So you want to keep it here, you want to partner with us, and also you want to keep watching. There's a lot of entertainment and an array of programs that will keep you light and glued to your screen. My name is Benjamin Waka, and this is ZoeTV, inspiring lives.
Good morning and praise the Lord, and welcome to Zoe Breakfast. It's yet another amazing week where we can start off, being equipped on the Word of God and also being equipped on issues of life. And indeed, at Zoe TV, as we always say, we are here to inspire lives. I hope that you've started your day well, that God has been with you. And even as you join us this morning for Zoe Breakfast, it is my prayer that indeed God will continue to carry you throughout this amazing week. My name is Ian. Always here to remind you are not here by accident. And, when it's Monday, it's our Wellness Monday right here at Zoe Breakfast. And indeed, we are having such a great time here as we continue this conversation around wellness. And indeed, as you're joining in for this conversation, remember you can also take part in the same. The numbers are right down below on your screen, 07000755555. You can text us or WhatsApp us, and we'll be glad to hear from you. Tell us where you're joining us from, and indeed it's going to be great as we get to share in what God is doing in your life as well. Today we are having such an amazing conversation, and for Wellness Monday today we are talking about mental health or mental wellness, such a topic that has become an emerging issue, a topic that has in some ways been misunderstood, in some ways been very, with a lot of misconceptions, a lot of myths, especially in the Christian circle. And indeed, today we just want to debunk this conversation. And, as you join us, probably a question to you is, when we talk about mental wellness, what rings to your mind? What comes to your mind when we talk about mental wellness? And today we are going to be having that conversation, especially for those of us in the Christian circles, just to get to understand what is mental wellness really about. Is it a conversation we should be having more often, especially in churches, that indeed, we can be able to debunk what the Bible says as well. We can be able to understand what God is speaking about this specific topic. And my prayer that indeed you will be, equipped, you will learn something here as we continue with this conversation. We are coming to you live on Facebook and on YouTube as well, so remember to share this broadcast. If you're joining us on Facebook, just search for ZoeTV. You'll find our live link there, and you can be able to share that to your families and friends, and bring people in so that we can be able to be equipped on this topic as well. We are coming to you on live on YouTube as well, and indeed may God bless you as you continue to share this broadcast. Well, I'm joined by an amazing guest this morning, someone who's in the health and wellness space. And indeed, this is a conversation you don't want to miss out on. So please remember, don't touch that dial. Stick with us, because for the next 1 hour, we are going to be debunking about mental wellness. And indeed, as I mentioned, today I'm joined by an amazing guest, Ebenezer Mokamba. He's a CEO Someone involved in the mental and health, health wellness in general.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
How's your morning?
Well, my morning is great.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Today is a great day. We are starting over a new month, the month of May.
Yes.
For us in the healthcare industry, it's a very significant month.
All right.
Actually, the World Health Organization decided that we will create a lot more awareness about mental health in the month of May. So this is not just another day or another month.
Yes.
I am excited to have this conversation today.
Wow.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
You're leading an amazing organization.
Yes.
Called Care Call. Could you just share with us briefly what you do and what Care Call is all about?
Yes. Every time I get an opportunity to talk about that, I usually say why we exist. So here is why we exist.
Yes.
There is something that we call sick care. And then there's another opposite of that, which we call real health care. Now, this only exists in Care Call because in the world out here, those places where we call healthcare institutions, in reality, they're taking care of sick people. So I and my team, we call them sick care organizations.
Okay.
So what do we do at Care Call?
Yeah.
We want to make sure that no one ever gets to a point where they need to be admitted because they are unwell.
Wow.
And this could be physical, this could be mental, or we are all round. In fact, we are a wellness organization.
Yes.
And that is what we do best.
Wow.
Yes.
So it's about preventive rather than cure.
Prevention and proactivity. Because one of the things human beings are very bad at is being proactive about their health. People can be proactive about so many things. I overhear people planning their week ahead.
Yes.
My meeting, my calendar, I need to go this place this day. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
But how often do we pre-plan about our health?
Wow.
For example, we usually run things we call risk assessments for mental health. And there is a very famous risk assessment questionnaire called a PHQ-9. It's just a set of questions that we ask people, and different people score differently. But no one really ever says that I want to score, say, a 10 in the next 2 months. And I desire for us to be at a point where we can actually track our mental health status at home. Not because you're going to hospital, at home.
Yeah.
And you're able to predict where you will be in future.
Wow.
Yes.
Every time when I interact with a health practitioner,
yes,
there always these jargons that are thrown around. And sometimes you might think that someone is bragging.
We have to tell you went to school,
So when you talk about PHQ-9,
yes,
is it an abbreviation? Is it an acronym of anything?
Yes. Yeah. It's just a set of 9 questions, and it's a patient health questionnaire. So there's nothing complicated about it.
You see, I was right.
There are standard 9 questions
Yeah.
that usually we ask people.
Okay.
An example of one of the questions we ask is, over the last 2 weeks, have you lost interest in the things you had interest in doing?
Wow.
All right? So we usually expect honesty. Even when you go to hospital, the doctor will ask you, how do you feel?
Yes.
You'll tell them, my stomach is hurting, my back is hurting, or something like that. So if I ask you, for example, over the last 2 weeks, there's something you love doing. For example, say I love reading, but in the last 2 weeks I have no energy to read.
Yes.
Or I love eating, but in the last 2 weeks my appetite has been very scanty.
Yeah.
These are some of those small, tiny things that we usually try to pick out from individuals so that we can be able to see where exactly do we direct the help towards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone I know used to tell me that there are only 2 people you can never lie to.
Yes.
Your doctor and your lawyer.
I think lawyers at least get a bit more honesty. But
are you sure?
Yeah. For the doctors, and especially in the world we currently live in, occasionally people can impose even symptoms or severity. One of the common questions we ask again is, on a scale of 0 to 10, could you tell me how much is your pain? Depending on what you want.
Okay.
You could give me any figure there.
That's true.
And of course, I'll take the figure you give me.
Of course.
Yes.
Someone like me who hates medicine, I don't like medicine. I don't like injections. So I'll definitely give you an answer just for the sake of moving
to make
on.
sure you reduce the level of injection.
It's amazing. All right. Well, I'm joined by Ebenezer Mukamba. Today we are talking about mental wellness. Such an amazing conversation to have, a timely conversation to have, especially in the month of May. As you've heard, it's the Mental Health Awareness Month. And indeed, what better time to talk about this conversation. So remember, you can help us to, share this broadcast. So please, if you're watching us on any platform, you can go to our Facebook page, and you can take that link and share it to your family, to your friends, to your WhatsApp groups, because this is a conversation we need to have, especially in the Christian circles, when we talk about mental health or mental wellness. So we want to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll just get deeper into this conversation and get to understand what mental wellness is really about, and what does it mean for you? What does it look like for you? What are the steps that you should take to take care of your mental health? What are some of the myths and misconceptions that we have been told to us, have been shared with us regarding this topic? And I know that indeed this is going to be an amazing conversation for you. So please don't touch that dial. We're going to take a short break, and I'll see you right after this.
I'll just share with us a few highlight testimonies that we have gotten in the recent past on ZoeTV. So one of the impact stories is on a life that God redirected back to God. So recently, a sex worker reached out via SMS after watching ZoeTV and resolved to change her life. And I'm going to read her exact message that she sent to us through our studio phone. And she said, "Hello ZoeTV, I'm going to leave out the name." And she said, "Today I watched your programs and have been touched in my heart. I gave up on God and started working as a sex worker after trying many businesses. All failed to pick up. But from the last week, I have been feeling I want to come back to God, not knowing how. Please help my heart and my life. Thanks." That is just a message you got from a sex worker. We have no idea whether she was watching that from her own house or from a guest house, from wherever she was. But this kind of messages is what we live for. For people who can say that I have watched, I have been touched, I want to change, and I want to be transformed. We've received a message from a university student who was struggling with depression, and they watched ZoeTV, a ZoeTV program late one night. And as they continued watching, they found hope, faith, and purpose. Today, they are back to school. They are serving in church. Not only that, they are actually mentoring other people. We live for stories like those as Zoe Television. I'll give you another case of a family that got restored. A couple who on the verge of separation began watching ZoeTV, some of the relationship content. Today, their marriage is restored, their home is peaceful, their children are doing well. I'll just share with us another scenario as to why we have the drive and the motivation of doing what we do. And this is a young creative who partnered with ZoeTV and was given a platform. Their talent that was once hidden found a home. Today, it is impacting thousands of people, spreading positive faith-based messages, and can go on and on and on. There are people that have gotten media careers by just on the platform of ZoeTV, and seeing them excel even in other places and other establishments is our joy. To know that we were involved at a critical point of their lives when they are finding themselves, and they found themselves, and some of these people are indeed doing very, very well. So
thank you for standing with ZoeTV. To Copa Moja, your support is touching lives and taking hope to home. Thank you for standing with ZoeTV.
All right, welcome back to Zoe Breakfast. It's our Wellness Monday morning. I hope you're having such an amazing time. And indeed, as you join us in this conversation, remember, as we mentioned today, we are talking about mental wellness. As you've been, as has been shared with us by Ebenezer Mokamba, May is the Mental Health Awareness Month. I don't know what that means to you, but I feel it's a timely conversation to have this morning. And indeed, you keep staying with us, keep, not touching that dial as we continue with this conversation. It's an amazing conversation to have. So please stay with us as we get to debunk more about mental health. I asked you a question when we were beginning this morning, just to allow you to take part in this conversation as well. When you talk about mental wellness, how does mental wellness look like for you? I think that's an important question to ask ourselves. So this morning, remember, we are asking you, how does mental wellness look like for you? And indeed, it's going to be great to hear from you this morning. Remember, the numbers are right down below on your screen, 0700075555. You can text or WhatsApp in, and indeed, it's going to be great to hear from you. Well, Ebenezer, we are continuing with this conversation.
Yes.
And we've introduced about mental wellness.
Yes.
But most of the times, I think in the season that we are in, when everyone hears about mental wellness, automatically their mind clicks depression.
Yes.
Yes. So I want you to just paint a picture of what mental wellness is about. When we talk about mental health, what does it encapsulate?
Yeah, that's an important question because it lays the foundation of this conversation.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about mental health, there are two things. One is emotional well-being, and then the second bit is the social well-being. Now, when we talk about emotional well-being, human beings, all of us carry certain levels of emotions. And in the course of our life, we get to experience certain stressors. And when we talk about actually mental health, we say that stressors are very good. If there were no stressors in life, we would not have the drive to do things. We would not have the motivation to do things. We would just be comfortable, sitting. And I usually relate it, recently there are some guys who went to the moon. And in the moon and in space, they say there's no gravity.
Yeah.
You're just floating in the air.
Yeah.
You don't need to move. You don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
So that would be the kind of situation we are in as human beings. No need to go to work. No need to feed your family. So it would just be a very flat life. That is the importance of stressors.
Okay.
However, these stressors, we respond to them. And usually we respond to them emotionally, right? Now, when we respond to these stressors emotionally, different people have different levels of response.
That's true.
All right? Now, you've mentioned a word called depression, and it's a word that can be abused a lot by people.
Yeah.
Because at what level do we say that someone is depressed? Because having stress, everyone has stress. Even the president of a country. In fact, they probably have the highest stress.
That's true.
As compared to me, who is not a cabinet secretary or a president or anything.
You don't have to worry about matters of the state.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you can imagine when he goes to sleep, and maybe we have a debt that is running into trillions of shillings.
Yes.
And probably I have 10,000 shillings worth of debt. So we all are stressed about something, but the magnitude is different.
Yeah.
Now, the difference usually is in how we cope to these stresses.
All right.
All right? And maybe before I talk about that coping bit, I talked about the social aspect.
Yeah.
Human beings are very social. We are designed and wired to be social. That means that we are wired to be part of a team, part of a group.
Yeah.
We are wired to belong to a certain, social setting. Social settings can be many. They could be work, it could be church, it could be school, it could be a market, it could be a business that you do. Now, when someone is mentally unwell, you tend to dissociate from your social circle or even from your social settings. And this has happened a lot. In fact, earlier on when we started, I talked to you about the PHQ and the set of 9 questions.
Yeah.
Now, one of the questions in the 9 seeks to find out, do you still belong to the social group that you've always belonged to? Do you get to a point where now you feel, I no longer fit into this group of people? All right? And then suddenly you start isolating yourself. They are planning a trip to Namanga, but you feel like I'm too tired to attend that trip. In the last few months, probably you are very excited. You're happy to go this place and that place. But now you're no longer excited to participate in this. So when you talk about definition, for mental health, we always focus on those two things.
The
emotional aspect
and the
social aspect. Yes.
Wow. And obviously there's been a lot of misconceptions around this topic.
Yeah.
Because, and especially, in the young generation that is existing right now, you talk to a young person and the first thing they tell you, I think I'm depressed.
Yes.
I think I have anxiety.
Yes.
What are the some of the, can I call them pointers,
Yes.
that someone may look at, even based on the PHQ-9 that you've
Yes.
talked about,
Yes.
that can help someone to understand, I think I'm not okay.
Yes.
I think there's a problem somewhere that probably may help our audience this morning to just understand that, this is what you need to
You're
really
right.
have a keen look at.
Yes. Now, the reason why this is again is important is because usually a person lacks insight. When I say humans, there are things about ourselves that we have no idea about.
Yeah.
But the people who live around us and our friends and families are able to identify these things. So one of the things that usually happens a lot is if, for example, I notice my friend, something is wrong with them, when I try to approach them and talk to them about it, they will vehemently reject and refuse and say, you are seeing your own things, and there's nothing like that. But actually, in reality, the people that are supposed to help those who say they have depression is me now, the friend to this individual
All right.
person. All right? So I will notice that you used to eat, you're no longer eating.
Yeah.
Or you used not to eat as much, now you're eating too much. Because now these signs and symptoms are not in one direction, they're multi-directional.
Yeah.
Even talking, for example, I used to participate in team meetings actively. I no longer participate actively.
Yeah.
Or I am now participating too much.
Yeah.
I am talking too much. I am uncontrollable. All right? So these things, even sleeping, for example, I either sleep too much or sleep too little.
Too little.
All right?
Yeah.
And you talked about young people, and we have a generation of Gen Zs, which is very famous, which you understand.
Yeah.
A lot of Gen Zs in my life, for example, one of the unique things I've identified, they have two phone numbers. One is for WhatsApp, and one is for calls. And the one for calls is never responded to. He's never answered.
Yeah.
And the one for WhatsApp never has calls going through it. Correct?
interesting.
So these are people that
Yeah.
you don't even know how to reach out to them. They have certain ways in which they communicate. And it's okay. It is not abnormal for that scenario to be there. However, when someone isolates themselves, now that you can only reach me when I want to be reached. If I do not want to be reached, then you cannot reach me. All right? Or I will only make myself available when I want to be available.
Yeah.
Okay? If I want to disappear, I'll disappear. And you guys, you can look for me wherever you want to look for me, but you will not be able to find me. So those are some of the pointers that we often see in people. And let me mention this, Ian, and it's an important point. Now, as the person who notices something wrong within my friend, one of the things I need to do is I need to understand that my friend does not have insight. They don't know something about themselves.
Yeah.
Recently, I visited someone at home because we visit people at home and even offer psychosocial support at home.
Yeah.
And as I was speaking to the family members, one of the family members said, about a month ago, I saw that her face had started turning, a certain color. Her eyes were a certain color. So there is something the family members would notice.
Yeah.
But even when they told that person declined and said, no, you guys, you are seeing your own things.
Yeah.
That is not true. That is not me. All right? So that means that, they abandoned whatever help they were trying to push to come through. So never abandon. When you feel like your friend needs help, push for the help.
Wow.
Encourage them to get help. Tell them no. Even if it means me walking with you to this specific place where you can find help, let's go and find help.
Yeah.
Whether you can search the help online, you can physically go to a place and get help, do it. Because if you don't do it, the status continues to deteriorate.
Yeah.
And if it continues to get worse, then of course that is not a good thing.
All right. And you've spoken about something that's quite, probably before you get even to my next question, you've talked about help.
Yes.
And typical help with someone would mean, for example, therapy. Is that the only kind of help that you're talking about in this space? And for you as a practitioner, as a mental health practitioner, how does that look like? From diagnosis all the way to care? Yeah.
Now, one of the challenges, of course, we have stigmatized getting professional help for mental wellness. What we stand for is that we usually say every human being, as long as you're alive, you should be able to see a psychologist at least twice a year for no reason.
For no reason.
For no reason. You don't need a reason. to see a psychologist.
Okay.
You just need to see a psychologist because you are alive. Just the way we eat. Do you know we often eat for no reason?
Yeah.
Because it's just supper time,
Yeah,
we eat.
you eat.
Even you're not hungry.
Yeah.
It is lunchtime, eat. You're not hungry. So if we can eat for no reason,
Yeah.
then we are supposed to also see a mental health practitioner, a counselor, for no reason.
For no
Now,
reason.
what happens usually during those sessions, the counselor will be able to throw around some probing questions. And these probing questions will lead you somewhere. And as they lead you somewhere, then now you start building on yourself. You start building on your muscle. You start building on yourself. And now you can be able to identify even some things you never knew about.
Yeah.
Now, how this journey looks like, for example, for us, and thank God for technology, we have a lot of options that we can take. Now, for example, for us, if you book an appointment, and this can be done online, or it can be done physically walking into a place,
Yeah.
you will set up an initial discovery session. And as it is called discovery, no one knows anything. The counselor doesn't know anything
They
about
don't
you.
get with a premeditation of
No
what?
premeditation, no
Yeah.
ideas coming in.
Yeah.
Just because you walked in with dreadlocks, for example,
Yeah.
or you walked in with your sagging trousers, then already we are saying now this person is a bad person. No. The first session is a discovery session. Let us find out who you are. What exactly do you stand for?
Yeah.
What do you believe in? Why are you here today?
Yeah.
Do you even believe it is the right thing to do in the first place? So those kind of questions now direct you to the next step. Now, most of the time, these things cannot be done in one session.
Yeah.
So it means that based on the outcome of that conversation, then you're able to determine now how much more do we need to talk.
Okay.
We need to talk 2 more times,
Yeah.
3 more times, 5 more times, and whatever number of times that is required, then we can be able to, go dig in step by step until we find a solution.
All right.
Yeah.
There's obviously especially in the African culture or context, that mental health support is for weak people.
Yes.
Can you briefly
And-
just speak about that?
And especially for those of us who are born again,
Yeah.
we might want to confuse these things. And I must say that truly there is a very thin line. There's a very thin line. Now, faith is not foolishness.
All right.
When I have faith in God, I know that God will help me. Actually, having faith is one of the ways to manage my mental health. Right? Because one of the coping strategies that I employ personally myself is having faith that things will be okay. There is something called hope. Now, anyone who loses hope,
Yeah.
and this is very tragic, losing hope usually leads the next step to suicidal ideations. And you can imagine, hope might sound very simplistic. It might sound very simple and, a random thing that people generally have. But it is not. If you ever speak to anyone who has had persistent suicidal ideations, it's because they are hopeless. They feel like even if tomorrow comes, there is nothing good for me. Even if next year comes, there is nothing good for me. So I am in a state of hopelessness. Now, as a Christian, my hope is in the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I believe, and strongly so, that even if it did not work out today, it will work out tomorrow. Why? Because I read the Bible, and the Bible tells me that, as long as I believe in Jesus Christ,
Yes.
it is going to come. It is going to pass. I don't have a job today, but that is not a permanent state. It's a very temporary state.
Yeah.
What I need to do is I need to keep applying. I need to keep knocking doors. And by me knocking doors, then I know that, a day is coming when I will share a testimony. In my circles, one of the things that builds me up is testimonies. And when you listen to some testimonies, people have been through agony. People have been through tough times, difficult times. People have been through debt. I think some of the testimonies that move me is people who've been auctioned.
Yeah.
People who took money from lending institutions.
Yeah.
Business did not work out. Auctioneers came in, auctioned up everything. But then you're able to pick up yourself and move forward. In a natural state, these are things that would send you to depression.
Yeah.
And, when we talk about depression, we are talking about a state where your mind shuts down,
Yes.
literally. You are in a state of shutdown. You are not able to process thoughts. You are having a mental shutdown. You cannot think about a solution. You know, you're trying to figure out now, is there anything extra I can do to remove myself from this quagmire? And you cannot find that extra thing. And that is a state we call depression. So in the circles out here, you know, in our social settings, people can have these myths, misconceptions. You know, they can have these ideas that, you know, if you've been given medicine, for example, for your mental health, then, you know, you are a weakling. You know, you are a bad person. You know, maybe, you know, there are some wizards in your village who stepped on some eggs and now you cannot think properly. You know, while that can be true, there is a place for our Lord Jesus Christ to support our mental state. But there's also a place for professional help. It took me a lot of time to actually appreciate professional help, even though I am in that space. Why? Because sometimes we go to seek professional help and the people we find there are not professional anyway. You know, they won't listen to you. You'll get some kind of prescription. When you take the prescription, you know, you feel some side effects. Some of the side effects for medicine for the mind is actually very strong, you know. You would get tremors, you get withdrawal effects. You know, you may lose appetite. You can get very dry lips and such kind of things. And these things can lead you to a place of feeling as if this professional help actually doesn't help. And some people, we want to shy away from it.
Well, you know, that's amazing, because I want to address something before we take a short break.
Yes.
And there's the perception as well that mental health support or mental health, mental
therapy.
Sickness or therapy, they are things for rich people.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
There's the assumption that this thing is costly.
Yes.
It's not si yangu ya mtu wa mtaani.
Yes.
Ni ya wale matajiri. You know?
Yes.
And I think that there's been some things that have been done to address that. There's some of the few things that you can share with us, because it's I think it's a wide misconception that price is a barrier to seeking seeing a practitioner, seeing a mental health practitioner. I cannot be able to afford that. What can you say about that?
Yes. And while it is true that there are sometimes associated costs to getting help, we also have organizations that you don't need costs. Actually, one of the places where you can get mental health support without spending a coin is in church.
Wow.
All right? A lot of churches offer professional help. And we are not just talking about pastors. We are talking about pastors who have even gone to school to learn psychology. So this is not just about the spirit alone. It is also about the physical person, the human who has emotions and who is able to, you know, you are able to connect on a human level. So I have personally gotten mental health support in a church or in church because there is a structure. And in church, people can listen to you. People can pray for you. People can brainstorm ideas on how, what you can do for a specific situation. In fact, for a lot of people, and even for our viewers, I want to encourage, if you do not belong to a church, you're losing out. You need to belong to a church. Belonging to a church gives you, first of all, a sense of belonging. There is a place that I belong into. And in this place, I can get social help. Remember when we were defining, we talked about social help, the aspect of social. So if I do not belong to a social gathering, then when I need to look for help, then I don't even know where to start from. I have no friends. I have no family. Or maybe I have a family, but I am afraid of telling them this thing. And it happens a lot. And I think I should commission a study why, you know, we hardly open up to our family members.
That's true.
Even our own parents hardly open up to their children. As children, we hardly open up to our parents or even our siblings. So I could be undergoing something very difficult, but I need someone beyond my family. So that I can be able to open up to them and tell them, you know, I am actually going through this. So before you put a ability to pay for a service as a barrier, let us also look. There are non-governmental organizations that offer therapy for free, right? Even the government of Kenya, there is a toll-free line, I think we'll be able to find it, which you can actually be able to call. You don't need airtime. You just need to call and speak to a stranger and let them know that I need this and this help. However, we also have places where you can pay for. there are some advantages and disadvantages. One of the disadvantages I usually say, or one of the advantages I usually say, in a place where you pay for a service, first of all, you tend to get even priority services. There are not many people there seeking that service, of course, because of the cost, but you can be able to be prioritized. You can get personalized attention. You can get long-term support, you know. So we can be able to do this. I give an example. As humans, we usually spend money where we value.
That's true.
A good example I usually say is people can spend money on, say, nyama choma. And, you know, you can buy 1 kg at 1,000 shillings. And you can buy at least 4 kgs in a sitting. And you can do that twice or 3 times a month. All right? Because I value the good times that I'm having with my boys. And, you know, we can have, you know, and we can spend a bill of even 10,000 shillings. All right? But we don't come to say, you know, this is costly. So it comes to how much can we prioritize these things. We can be able to reallocate some of these things from point A into point B so that we get the help we need. Yes.
Wow. Well, we are here speaking with Ebenezer Mokamba of Care Call, and today's conversation is around mental wellness. I don't know what you're getting from this topic, but there's so many myths and misconceptions that we just debunked from this conversation. And I know there are 1 or 2 things that you're getting from this. It would be great to hear from you. Is there something that you're getting out of this conversation? Remember, we also asked as we began the conversation, how does mental wellness look like for you? And it's going to be great to hear from you. Well, we want to take a short break. And when we come back, Ebenezer, we just want us to talk about the aspect of confidentiality. When we talk about mental wellness, it's something that has just come up. You know, when you're seeking mental help, then there needs to be an aspect of confidentiality. How does that look like for you as a practitioner, and also for the patient that you're seeing? Probably right after this break. So please don't go too far. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back right after this.
What's up, people? ZoeTV is a Christian TV channel aimed at sharing the gospel with the young people today. And we know that today there's so much information out here that is not true. There's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of misleading information. And that is why ZoeTV is here, so that we can get to share the truth of God's word. And we invite you to partner with us, amazing programs, just to help the young people with the right information, which is the word of God. Remember, the word of God is life and spirit. And that is why ZoeTV first priority is to share the truth of God's word to the young people today. And so we invite you to partner with ZoeTV as we get to keep the gospel of Christ Jesus to all the young people of Kenya today. My name is Tess Waka, and this is ZoeTV, inspiring lives.
Stop looking for the big stuff. Start asking God for the toothpick idea. Still today, toothpicks are one of the number 1 things, number 1 bestseller. It's a piece of wood. It's $1 million industry, but it's a piece of wood. One of the reasons why we want to do something big is because we want to feel big. Because I want people to know that I'm big. Because I want people to know that I'm something. Because I want to let people know I got it. Because I want people to see that I came from nothing and now I made it. And the Lord says, you will never make it with that attitude. Begin to ask the Lord for the small thing, the toothpick idea, and the Lord will cause the magnificent and the magnanimous to happen. Lend him your skills. Lend him your ear. Lend him your heart, right? And the smallest thing, the threads in the carpet, will become $1 million business for you.
My name is Amy Kosgei Madubuko, and you're watching ZoeTV, inspiring lives. This is my message for you. Never allow your circumstances, your problems to define who you are. Where you are now is not your destination. There is more to this life. Keep trusting and believing God, and keep becoming until you become what He has called you to be. God bless you, and stay tuned.
Welcome back to Zoe Breakfast this amazing Monday morning. I hope that indeed you're having an amazing time as you join us as we talk about mental wellness. Remember, this morning we're talking about mental health. Such a timely conversation to have. You know, May is the Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're going to be talking about that in just a bit. But remember, we asked you a question when we began. How does mental wellness look like, or what does mental wellness look like for you? It's going to be great to hear from you. The numbers are right down below on your screen, 07000755555. You can also go to Facebook and, drop a comment there, and it's going to be great to hear from you. Share this broadcast as well as we continue to help, every person out there to just get to understand more about mental wellness. Well, I'm joined here by the right person, the right man for the job. Ebenezer, and right before the break, we were talking about seeking mental support,
Yes.
what it looks like,
Yeah.
the pricing element. We've talked about there are so many free services that someone can access, whether from government, whether from social circles such as churches, and paid also support, whether it's from hospitals or whatever avenue that you'd want to seek. The help is there.
Yes.
I think that's the bottom
It
line
is.
that we are
It
picking
is.
from this conversation.
Yes.
Well, there's been also the aspect of confidentiality.
Yes.
And I know it's a big topic, especially for you as a practitioner.
Yes.
I remember once I had a sick person in hospital.
Yes.
And this person was really close to me based on
Yes.
my understanding, because
Yes.
this was someone in my nuclear family. But I couldn't get
The information.
the information because I'm not the person that was
The next of kin.
next of kin to that person.
Yeah,
And it was such a mind blowing
I understand.
thing, because I was brought up with this person. What do you
Yes.
mean I can't access information? But I know confidentiality, especially when we're talking about mental health, is a big thing.
I understand.
Can you be able to just put some level of trust for people out there that when you're seeing a practitioner, these people have been trained in the aspect of confidentiality?
Yes. And it's actually an oath. When we talk about an oath, this is something you commit to do entirely and exclusively. This means that when you share with me your issues, I am bound by my professional boundaries and standards to handle that information within the context of helping you to become better. So this means that some of the things I will not do is, for example, go do a social media video talking about the story you told me, or write an article talking about what you told me, or call your employer and tell them, now this employee of yours, you need to watch out because this and this is going on with them. And this happens to all practitioners that are bound by those professional standards. I do not refuse the fact that in a market you will get some people who do not abide by the standards and the professional standards. So in such a case, occasionally we've had leakages and loopholes where information that ideally supposed to remain private and confidential has gone out. But let me say this to everyone who hears this message, that never refuse to seek help because you're scared that information will leak out. In fact, a problem shared is 50%
Half
solved.
solved, yeah.
It is already half solved. So you will be a better person just because you've already shared that issue. And let me also say this, that sharing your issue doesn't need to be with someone who has a PhD, sits in some high office in Upper Hill. No. Sharing needs to be with anyone you feel comfortable about. It just needs to be anyone you're comfortable about. And number two, in terms of expectations, you don't need to have that expectation that once shared, my solution will be availed, like the way you switch on a bulb. No. Solutions actually in the mental health space are co-brainstormed together. So we discuss and we come across with a solution. I do not impose the solution to you. One of the common things that stresses people is about relationships.
That's true.
Should I marry this one or not? Is this a good relationship or not a good relationship? You can imagine how difficult it is for me to tell you about a relationship with someone I don't know about. So what are we doing together? We are looking at the various aspects that you are sharing. We are considering the various issues that you are raising. The various red flags, as they call them, that you are actually sharing. And we are trying to look for you. What is it you value? And what ideally should you value? Then we agree together that we should be going into this specific next step.
Okay.
But let me add this, that in all laws, there is an exception.
That's true.
And this also, there is an exception. There are times we come across things that are life-threatening.
Okay.
You know, life-threatening to you who is seeking help, or to someone else. You know, it could be a family member,
Yeah.
it could be someone you're in a relationship with, it could be children, and such kind of things. Now, in cases where we need to save a life, then the confidentiality aspect can be broken.
It is overruled.
It is overruled.
Yeah.
Because now that means that I will not allow you to go back home and, for example, commit a murder.
Yeah.
All right?
That's true.
I need to save the life of someone out there. So that means that during the course of the conversation, I will actually seek your permission. And I will explain to you and let you know that, you know, based on this fact, I will not be able to keep this to myself. Please allow me to speak to so-and-so who is involved in this matter,
Yeah.
so that we can be able to save their life or even save your own life.
Yes. Wow. And that's amazing, because I think confidentiality is one of the things that also raises a lot of issues. People are afraid.
Yes.
And as you've mentioned, it might be from a practitioner as yourself, but it could also be from any social circle. I could go to church and tell my pastor, you know what, I have an issue, and you know, kidaraka social media, how can you say that you're a Christian and this is
and
the
issue.
It's different dynamic stories that we hear, especially.
But let me
when
tell
it
you
comes to this
something else,
topic.
Ian.
Yeah.
And this thing, I think I have built it in myself.
Yeah.
We like asking ourselves, what will people say?
Yeah.
What will people say? I usually ask, which people? Which people? Because those people are nowhere.
Yeah.
Let us not worry. In fact, let us not care about what people will say.
Okay.
Because those people are nowhere here when you need that help. Those people are good at saying it. They're good at talking it. And they're good at, you know, trying to digest and, you know, ask themselves, you know, you are a Christian. Why are you undergoing stress? Why are you undergoing depression? Let it not matter to you about what people will say.
All right.
The most important thing is you.
Okay.
What is your mind? What exactly are you thinking? How are you feeling about that specific situation? It could be you messed up, you know, you found yourself in a relationship that you should not have found yourself in. You did a mistake that you should not have done.
Yeah.
That is already in the past. You need to take it as a challenge for yourself and define your future. Let it not, you know, and for Kenyans, sometimes we also say, Kenyans, we forget very quickly.
That's true.
You know, how many scandals have happened in this country?
So many.
With very high profile people.
Yeah.
Scandals that, you know, ideally should never have happened. And it was on TV. Are you on TV? You know, these things were on mainstream media.
Yeah.
And they were all over trending on social media.
Yeah.
But those people, they're still there.
Their lives are
They're
moving
alive
on.
and kicking, and you know those things we already forgot.
That's true.
About them.
That's true.
The same thing for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
People will forget. Be strong through that storm, because that storm is coming.
Yeah.
Believe in God. Have faith in God. Just trust God that, you know, God, I am praying for this thing. It shall come to pass.
Yeah.
It shall not bring me down.
Yes.
I shall not commit suicide because of this and that. I will stand firm. A few weeks ago, you know, our young people were reminding us about where our foundation is. You know, even as we build the foundation for our life, let us do our best to build our foundation on a solid rock.
Yes.
And not just on the sand. Because the storms will surely come.
That's true.
The storms will come.
That's true.
There is no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And even for anyone who, you know, follows this wellness breakfast today, there is no doubt about the storm coming into the future. Even when we pray about getting a job, you get the job. But once you get the job, you realize that you have targets to meet.
That's true.
You have KPIs
Yeah.
that you must meet. Now suddenly, it is no longer about having the job. It's about now, where will I get these customers so that I close this sale? If the customer doesn't close the sale or they ghost you, oh my goodness.
It's another story.
It's another issue. So it's a whole cycle that we must maintain our sanity for us to be okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I want us to talk about the Mental Health Awareness Month. But before that, you previously talked about coping. I
Yeah.
think we've talked about care.
Yes.
In the mental wellness space.
Yeah.
But you also introduced something about coping.
Yes, yes.
And can you
yes,
just
yes.
briefly talk about a
Yes.
preventive or proactive
Yes.
measure that someone might take, to sort of cope and help themselves to thrive mentally?
There are two types of coping strategies.
Mm-hmm.
One is healthy, one is unhealthy. As human beings, we deploy these two as they suit us. And that is why you need help for someone to support you to choose the healthy coping strategy. Unhealthy coping strategies can be very simplistic. For example, binge eating. I'll decide that because I have a lot of stress, the whole week I'll eat chipo. So I'll just be eating chipo. I'll eat at night, in the morning, lunchtime. You know, I'm trying to work around my stress, so I binge eat. Okay. In the world, people binge drink.
That's true.
All right?
Yeah.
Because I have this stress, I'll drink the whole day, I'll drink the whole night. I'll never be sober. It's a very unhealthy coping strategy.
That's
Even
true.
sleeping.
Yeah.
You will oversleep. I'll not wake up. I'll sleep the whole week. I'll not shower. Very unhealthy coping strategies.
Yeah.
When we hold mental health seminars, one of the things that I've told people, and they've given me feedback that it actually works, that when you feel really, really stressed, take a shower and take a walk after the shower. You push yourself to do something that is fairly simple. It doesn't cost you anything, because people will say, I don't even feel like taking a shower. I don't even feel like taking a walk. All right? But the moment you push yourself to do it, it actually helps. It opens your mind to something that you're not seeing. All right? Now let's talk about the healthy side of it for these things. One of the healthy things that you can do is pray about something. Pray about it. Commit yourself to pray about that thing. No one needs to know you're praying. You don't need to seek anyone's permission to pray. Pray and have faith about it. All right? That's one thing that we can do. And we believe in God. We have faith that He is going to help.
Yes.
The other thing that we can do that is healthy is exercising. All right? Take a walk. Remember I told you, anytime you feel like you want to isolate yourself, you want to take a walk. Take your shower, take your walk, and go.
Yeah.
Do 30 minutes and come back in the house. The other thing that you can do is write about it. Write it. It helps. And most people don't realize this, but if you remove it from your head and you put it on a piece of paper, that piece of paper doesn't need to go anywhere. You can even tear it apart or even burn it. But it will actually lift a very heavy load out of you.
To debunk the things that are in your head. And
Exactly. There are two more things I want to share. And these ones we do for people generally. And we have seen great impact. One of them is dance. And there is even dance therapy.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know how to dance, including myself. But if I have to dance to help myself, I will. And especially when I'm in a group of people and we are taking the same moves. So no one is trying to outshine the other.
No one is outshining the other.
Right? At the end of it, I'll feel good about myself.
That's true.
I'll be happy. There's some serotonin. Serotonin is a feel-good hormone. In our bodies, there are some hormones that make us feel good. They'll be released and you'll feel nice about yourself. Even your self-worth, how you value yourself, it will increase. And finally, there's something called art. Art, you don't need to be an artist. No. You just need to go online, download a piece of paper that you can print it in your local cyber at 5 shillings, come to your house with some crayons. You can even look for 3 or 4 colors and take your time to just paint it and write it and draw it. Once you're done, just put it on your wall and maybe step back like 3 or 4 steps. Have a look at it. Have a look at it. And try to digest exactly what you're seeing versus what is in your mind.
That's true.
Very, very helpful.
Wow.
So we try to direct people into healthy coping strategies.
Healthy coping strategies.
Yes.
Wow. And that's amazing to note. Now, I want us to jump into what's coming up, the mental health awareness. Or rather, we are in the mental health awareness month. And I can see here the theme for this year is action.
Yes.
And obviously, there's been there's been in previous
Yes.
awareness have been about raising awareness, but I love that this one is talking about action.
Yes.
It's more than
Let's do
just
it.
raising awareness.
Yes.
It's more now about taking a step.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
now you've raised awareness enough. Can you
Yes.
just help us to understand what's help us just debunk this theme and understand what steps we should be looking to, even to for us to participate
Yeah.
in what's happening this month in the mental health awareness month?
Yes. Recently,
Yeah.
we hosted an event. It was called Thrive Teens Experience. And it was just before schools opened. And one of the exercises we shared, we gave the teenagers pieces of paper.
Yeah.
And they were writing the things that bother them. You know, when you look at a person seated there with their iPhone, scrolling, looking all happy, we are laughing at memes and all these things, you wouldn't imagine there's something that is bothering them. And this is especially even for parents, because those teenagers, belong to a certain, group of parents.
Yeah.
80% of the issues that were raised were related to the relationship between the teenager and the parent. The gap, how they feel. Things like, for example, I feel like my sibling is more preferred than me. I feel like you care more about your own things than my things. I feel like I am not valued. You can imagine this is a 16-year-old. They've only been alive for 16 years. But they are deeply bothered by the fact that they are not valued by their parent. There is a lot of peer pressure, nowadays.
Obviously,
Social media.
Yeah.
Social media is quite something. I saw a very interesting video online that was showing how social media can be lying to you. And someone was holding a toilet bowl, and it was looking like they are flying. But the angle at which it is taken.
At which the photo was taken.
This guy is flying to New York, and you're here as a 16-year-old. You're wondering, Mom,
how comes I'm not flying?
My friend's mom paid for them a ticket to
Yeah.
New York. What are you doing for me? I'm just here in Athi River eating dust.
Yeah.
So social media can have a lot of pressure. And if you are not able to moderate it as a person, oh my goodness. We used to talk about peer pressure.
Yeah.
Right now it is more than 4 times. It is much more.
Yes.
Because these people are on their phones, they're scrolling through TikTok, and the kind of videos they're seeing, oh my goodness, they're not able to sleep. They're not able to settle down. So we had that event, bringing teenagers together. And there's nothing more beautiful than bringing people of the same age set together to just talk freely. Freely, without limitation.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage parents. One of the calls we kept on getting is, my son or my daughter has never been out by themselves. Will they make it? Of course they will make it.
That's true.
You have been taking care of them. They are enclosed, they can never step anywhere without your presence. I know you care. But there is there is a place you're not able to get. So allow these people, and this is not just about the teenagers.
Yeah.
Even, let's call married men or married women, or people who work in certain industries, employees of a certain industry, people in a certain job area, these people who share certain characteristics or qualities, we need to encourage them to be in a certain place. So that's why we are doing webinars, for example, online. People need to tune into these things so that they can be able to be sorted. When we, for example, Mother's Day is coming up, I am not a mother, but I hear a lot that being a mother is not easy. There is a lot of expectations. The children is there, the husband is there, your professional work is there. How do you balance all these things? It is very difficult. But how about we having a group of mothers, sharing within themselves? How am I able to cope? How am I able to balance? What is it that I am doing that is unique? Am I having a meal plan? Am I having a schedule? Am I having all these things?
Yes.
And I can tell you, this month of May, we need to take that action.
We need to take action.
Yes, we do.
Wow, it's there are very many ways that I love you've mentioned some of those ways.
Yeah.
That how we can take part.
Yes.
As you've talked about, for example, the example you've given on mothers.
Yes.
Obviously you may not be a mother.
Yeah.
But you understand by the way they've shared about the struggles and the challenges that they have that are even affecting them, not only physically, but mentally as well.
Yes.
And what are some of the other ways that we can take part in what's happening this month
Yes.
during the Mental Health Awareness Month?
Yes. we have people who organize, for example, walks, right? So
Yeah.
we are walking from point A to point B
Yeah.
to raise awareness. And in the process, I think earlier we talked about the financing bit,
Yeah.
even raise money so that we can be able to sponsor certain people
Yes.
who are not able to get professional help so that they can get that professional help. Hosting events, like now for us, we have a dinner event that is coming on the 9th, which is this coming Saturday,
Yeah.
for mothers, all right? There is a cost to it, of course, because people need to eat, people need to enjoy themselves and have fun to eat. Now, people can actually volunteer or even donate towards some of these causes,
That's
all
true.
right?
Yeah.
When they volunteer themselves or they even donate some things towards these things, for example, there's a time where we were doing something related to dental health, meno, and people had volunteered toothbrushes and toothpastes.
Wow.
So can you imagine, even for mental health,
Yeah.
if we volunteered, for example, art materials, canvas where people can be able to paint, and we just have a group of people coming together, and we can be able to have a volunteer professional psychologist who can take them through this. There's a time we were doing even flowers.
Yeah.
Can you donate flowers? Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
So we are bringing in some flowers and we are doing floral therapy. And everyone is arranging these flowers in a way that they believe speaks about them.
Yeah.
Some people love yellow colors, others love yellow mixed with red,
Yeah.
others prefer white.
Yeah.
But now when we start talking now, why do you prefer the white over the yellow? In terms of your mental health, you will realize that there is a lot that people can actually be able to speak out about why they prefer one thing and not the other.
And not the other thing.
Yes.
So obviously it's important for you to take
Yes,
part
absolutely.
in whatever avenue, in whatever capacity that you are required to. It's great that you can take part in
Yes.
these initiatives.
Yes.
Well, I'm joined by Ebenezer Mukamba here. We are talking about mental health, and we're just wrapping this conversation that we've been having for the last 1 hour, talking about mental health, talking about mental wellness. And as he has shared with us, this month is the mental health awareness month. I think I'm confusing health and wellness.
Yes.
Yeah.
But health is wealth.
Health is wealth.
Yes.
All right. But, as he has shared with us, it's important that you take part in whatever capacity, to just contribute to the well-being, the mental well-being of yourself and even people around you. And I believe it's going to be great as we take part in that. As we wrap up this conversation, obviously the things that you're running at Care Call, you've told us about the Teens Thrive Camp that you had at the University of Nairobi.
Yes.
You've talked about the initiative that you're having around the Mother's Day. Can you briefly just talk about that and any other things that you're running around Care Call, at Care Call, that even beyond mental wellness?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, first of all, to invite everyone for the Mother's Day event. Well, mothers only, but the fathers can pay for the mothers. It is just 3,000 shillings.
Yeah.
We'll be having a venue in Kilimani. We'll be able to share the details.
Okay.
It's on Saturday 9th from around 2 p.m. all the way to 7 p.m. having a good time. And we'll focus a lot on mental health. So let them come out. We'll be able to share the details. However, I wanted to mention something that is important.
All right.
Physical health often leads to the state of mental health.
Yeah.
Human beings, generally, we need to really take care of our physical health. What does that mean? It's important for us to have what we call wellness checkups because getting a diagnosis is one of the biggest stressors that people generally have. When you go to hospital and the doctor tells you now you have this or that.
That's true.
Then the moment you leave that hospital, you will think about it, you overthink about it, you regret choices that you made.
Yeah.
And it becomes a bother to you, which means that, again, it's a big word, prognosis. But what it means simply is how the outcome becomes worse because we didn't take proactive action.
Yeah.
So remember, as Care Call, we stand for proactive action. So before you even get there, every year again, check your liver, check your kidney, check your sugars, check your cholesterol, check even your weight at 10 shillings on the street. I go to places where we are checking people's weights and they are shocked they added. And I ask them, when did you last check your weight?
Yeah.
Oh, it was 2 years ago. Weight is the simplest thing you can check.
That's true.
So if you get surprised that you added 10 kgs in 2 years, Again, if you add another 10 in the next 2 years, you will have added 20 kgs.
That's true.
What does that do to your heart? Your heart has to pump harder.
More, yeah.
It has to struggle. So what does that do? Your actual overall health depreciates. And we don't want you to depreciate in your health. So we have a beautiful website which helps people for free. carecall.co.ke.
Yeah.
Care for caring and call for phone call. Just one word. Care call. And if you go there, you can do a self-risk assessment.
Yeah.
You know, because we are generally exposed to a lot of risks in life. You know, where you work, the fact that you sit for 8 hours a day, you're going to work in the same place for the next 15 years. That's a big risk for your back.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Where you stay, maybe you stay on 7th floor or 6th floor, you have the risk for falling. Or you have a lift, which means you never do exercises.
That's true.
You risk for diabetes.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of risks that we need to manage. And what we are committed to is support people manage those risks so that those risks do not end up becoming medical issues that you have to spend millions of shillings in future to be able to treat them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, such amazing work you're doing
Thank
there.
you. Thank you.
At CareCall. Preventive care, I think, is one of the most, I think I classify it as a wonder because it's the simple things, but they help quite
the least
along
embraced.
Yeah, it's the least embraced.
It is the least embraced.
Yeah.
In fact, in terms of investment in the healthcare space, 99% of investment goes to what we call curative care.
Wow.
If you look at all these big hospitals, the only thing they are focusing is waiting for you to become sick.
Yeah.
Then they know at that point you have no option other than pay the 1 million bill.
That's true.
It is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I hope we can change this.
So we need more investment into
Yes,
preventive
care.
care.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's a lesson I've learned today.
Yes,
But
yes.
big up for the job you're doing.
Thank you.
Kudos to that. And
Thank
we wish you all the best
Thank you.
in all that you do, even on the 9th of May.
Yes.
I think there's something you talked about, dancing
Yes.
and art that you're organizing.
Yeah, we will have during the sessions, we'll have dance therapy.
Yeah.
We actually have professional dancers who are not just dancing for physical body, you're dancing for the mind.
For the mental
So there are
health.
some moves that you're going to take that
Yeah.
at the end of it all, you feel better.
Oh, wow.
Also art. Art is amazing. It's I have interacted with art therapy. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Even you don't need to be an artist, but at the end of that art therapy session, you realize that you've actually created something absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
At the end of it all, again, your mind will be better.
Amen.
Yes.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for
Karibu
sharing that with us. We wish you all the best. For those of us who are watching us back at home, remember carecall.co.ke. You can, visit the website and see what's on offer for you there. And as we've been told, preventive care is the first step you should be taking right now. So I'd advise you to go there and just check your mental health, check your physical health, check any preventive care that you can take from that website, and it's going to be great, for you to just plug into what CareCall is doing. But we've been talking about mental wellness. Remember, as we've been told that May is the Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's important that you plug in whatever capacity, to be able to stand for mental wellness. And indeed, it's great that, we've had this conversation. It's a timely conversation to have, even as we talk about mental wellness. So remember, we asked you, as we began this conversation, what does mental wellness look like? Well, I believe you have a clearer picture of what that looks like. We've been told about the emotional aspect, the social aspect. Also, we've been told about the healthy and unhealthy coping mechanisms. And indeed, it's great that you can be able to get these nuggets on how to improve and work on our mental health so that we can be able to thrive in our lives. Well, it's been such an amazing conversation. I'd like to thank you so much for staying with us in the past 1 hour as we've just discussed about mental wellness. I hope that indeed it's been an insightful conversation for you. Remember, the conversation continues. It does not end at this point, so you can keep sharing with us any comments, any insights, any questions that you may have on our numbers 0700755555, and we'll just be able to take those questions and any comments that you may be having regarding this topic and even beyond. And indeed, it's going to be great to hear from you. We're also carrying this conversation over to our social media pages on Facebook, that is at ZoeTV, on Instagram as well, on YouTube. This recording is going to be live. It's going to be right there waiting for you whenever you want to come back to it. So please subscribe on our YouTube page And indeed, we know that God is going to bless you as you do so. We've come to the end of this conversation, our Wellness Monday. Well, it's been an amazing time with you. I hope to see you tomorrow, same time, same place on Tuesday. Remember, Zoe Breakfast happens every weekday from 7 to 9 a.m. And indeed, it's great that we can have this time to just get to share more about emerging issues, engaging issues that we are facing in our daily lives. Remember, we also have our prayer watch from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. So please join into that as well. And indeed, it's going to be great as we continue to fellowship together. Well, at this point, I'd like to wish you a great day, an amazing day. May God be with you. May God bless you. And I pray that indeed you will thrive in your mental wellness as you continue throughout your day, your week, your month, and your year. Well, my name has been Ian. Always here to remind you, you're not here by accident. Until next time, we'll see you again. God bless you. Have an amazing day.